Hi there, embroidery lovers. Welcome back to my kit review series. Today I'm going to review Tatiana Popova's 12 cup August silk ribbon embroidery beginner kit. This particular cover page on the kit seems to be in Ukrainian. However, other kits that I've bought from her have cover pages that are in English. So let's put this aside and get on with the kit review itself. Here's a sneak peek of the finished embroidery piece. I had done a book review of Tatiana Popova's The Season in Ribbon Embroidery, and this particular kit is covered in this book. If you're interested in the book review itself, you may click on the link provided above. So as you can see here, the designs are also covered in the book. So let's see what's inside. This is the panel printed on cotton fabric, and the fabric seems to be folded on a paper which has sort of a waxy side on one side of the sheet. According to the instruction, the paper is only needed if the print on the cloth gets folded or crinkled during shipment. Then you have to lay the wax side on the pattern and iron on top of the paper side to straighten the fabric. But since this looks perfectly fine, I'll keep it aside. The image is of very high quality on the fabric. When I first bought her kit, I was a bit surprised, but you'll see none of that image once you embroider the piece with silk ribbons. So then it comes, let's see, those are some ribbons, some extra ribbon I guess she gave. It's a lot of instructions. Go through it one by one. Okay, so let's look at the ribbons a little later. So here is a picture guide of the ribbon embroidery. I guess one would mean you start with the leaves first, 1, 2, and then you go ahead, and that's how she's numbered her design. It comes with an appendix or a stitch glossary of all the ribbon stitches you will need. That's helpful. Put that aside. Some thread that we will talk about later, and then a work order. She calls it a work order. So we start first, number 1, sunflower leaves. And then she gives some instructions on how to do the leaves. And then the scarlet flowers, the sunflower centers, sunflower petals, the pink flowers, how to do that, and so on and so forth. So very nice. And then a few tips about working with silk ribbons. That is useful as well. At the back, how to frame the piece once it's completed, and then a few pieces of instructions here, what we would need in addition to what she's already packed. But let's see what she's packed first before we go over that. This is the instructions on what to do with that square panel that I just shown you, and to throw it away if the fabric is not wrinkled. Put that aside. Okay, now let's get to the fun part, which are the ribbons. Picture. So here are all the needles you will need for ribbon embroidery, the different size chenille needles, number 13, number 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, and some thread needle for thread. And of course, all of the beautiful ribbon. So reels, I mean lengths of ribbon, and she usually provides lots of ribbon, far more than you would need for your project, which for a beginner's project is good because in case you make mistakes, there's plenty to go by. In order to keep it, you know, I just fold like that and keep folding. And I found that the way I've sorted it out, it works well and fine. And then I just take that together and put it back into the packet. Now, if you have time to roll it, if you can cut some cardboard, then I would suggest that that's how you store the ribbons. So these are bobbins that you can get in any craft store. And so if you have time to store them properly like this, then that's a better way of doing it, because if there's any leftover silk, ribbon, you have it nicely stored and you can use it for a future project. Here's a sneak peek of my stitch along video, and if you decide to buy this kit or you already have this kit, join me, your stitch buddy Risa, in embroidering this beautiful design by Tatiana Popova. You may access the stitch along video by clicking on the link above. Stay on to watch 2 other reviews of kits that I've completed by Tatiana Popova. Here's a beginner's kit called Mother's Day Ribbon Embroidery that I have already completed by Tatiana, and it's for skill level beginner. She also sells this both on Etsy and on her website called Little Owls Crafts, Little Owls Smart Crafts. So I've already used it. This is not the original packaging, but I wanted to show you what came in the package. Okay, so start off, it has the pictures and work order for the silk embroidery piece, as you can see. Some interesting stitches, like for example the 2 knotted flowers. This was an interesting stitch to do for this piece. And then of course an appendix on ribbon stitches that is meant to be used for this project. And it came with all the ribbons, and as you can see, I still have quite a bit of ribbon length left. So as usual, it comes with 2 mm, 4 mm, 7, 13, 20 mm ribbons, which are numbered, and there's a lot of length that is still left over from after finishing the project, which is great. These are beautiful colored ribbons, and I can use it for some other projects. Now, an interesting and important point about this kit is that it requires some dyeing of the ribbons. These ribbons are meant to be dyed, and the kit does not include the dyes. It gives you some instructions on using normal watercolors, but for this particular kit I tried brush pens, and they worked perfectly fine. So the second kit that I've completed from Tatiana's shop on Etsy is from Olga's Garden Ribbon Embroidery. This is for advanced skill level. This requires a lot more dyeing of the ribbons, and I'll cover that in a moment. So this kit again is not in the original packaging. Unlike the 12 Cups August kit, these cover sheets are in English, and of course all of the instructions are in English. Gives you work order. It's interesting because there's some weaving of the basket that's required, sort of, and some dyeing. And as you can see, cream ribbon is used, and then later you would need to dye both the basket as well as the flowers and the roses. So there's a lot of skill level here. I, for example, struggled in stitching or forming the buds for this project, but it was an interesting challenge and I enjoyed it very much, and in the end the final product came out really well. So certainly an advanced skill kit, and if you've done some of the beginner kits and you're confident to go ahead with this, I would recommend buying it. It's quite an accomplishment. So when we do the handle, some use of aluminium foil to form the handle, and how to weave that and form that for the project is very interesting. And of course there's a stitch glossary. Now for the dyeing of this project, for these roses, I did not use brush pens, but I used a German company called Kreul, and these are dyes for silk, and the brand is called Javana, and this was suggested by Tatiana in my chats with her on Etsy. It's essentially used originally for tie-dye, but it works really well for silk ribbons. So these are the ribbons that came with the kit. Again, a lot of ribbon left over that I can use for my own projects, which I've designed. And here she includes 4mm, 7mm, 13mm, 20mm, 25, 32 and 50mm ribbons. So it was really interesting to work with these really large silk ribbons. So kit came with sufficient amount, and I think it's useful because generally you might make a mistake, and for example for the buds I had to redo them second time around to get the look that I wanted. So I'm very happy that Tatiana includes sufficient lengths of ribbons for her projects. And here is my completed work of the 2 silk embroidery kits. They've come out absolutely gorgeous. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I plan on reviewing a Strumpwork beginner's kit next time. Thank you for watching, and see you again.